Yeah, I'll come see you. I'm gonna see you. I'll text you. Make sure you know me. I promise you'll be warm. All right. Already fed, man. It'll be 2 miles one spot. Or they'll basically, you can see, there'll be a picture in it. You can see the game in the background. There'll be a picture of it. Plus, on vacation out. That's true.
All right, we're going to call this council meeting to order. St. George City Council regular meeting agenda, March 10th, 2026 at 5 p.m. St. George Fire Department, 14100 Airline Highway. We have a guest tonight that's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance with us, Mr. Ace Gabney from St. George Catholic School, 7th grader. He's here to get his merit badge with the Boy Scouts. All right. On you, Ace.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ace. Great job.
But if we did it with him, how do we know?
He did a great job.
I know he did a great job. Hey, great job. Ace. Ace. Take a picture with the mayor.
I lied to you. We have to take a picture too.
That's what mayors really do.
You gotta have proof.
There you go.
Good job.
Oh, look, you did want a picture. Ace,
I'll get you.
oh, never mind. We're good. We'll get it to you, Dan. Councilman Evans, an invocation, please.
I'll stand one more time. Let's bow. Father, we thank you for this day, this beautiful afternoon that you've given us. Lord, we thank you for the city of St. George, Lord, all our families and friends, and Lord, just all the citizens that, Lord, that we get to live life with and do life with. Lord, we thank you for our state. Lord, be with our legislators as they begin a new session. Be with our governor. Lord, be with our country right now as we are maybe in this turmoil of war with Iran. Be with our military. Be with all of our servicemen and women. Lord, be with us this day. Everything that is said and done, glorify you. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Amen.
Roll call, Councilman Merle.
Here.
Councilman Talbot.
Here.
Councilman Monticello.
Here.
Welcome back, Councilman. Councilwoman Cook. Councilman Himmel.
Here.
Councilman Evans.
Here.
Councilman DeLucci.
Here.
Everybody here is present and accounted for. We have a quorum. Approval of the minutes of the February 24th, 2026 council meeting. All council members have received these minutes and have reviewed them. Council. Motion to approve by Merle, second by Himmel. Any opposition? Hearing none. Minutes have been approved. Monthly activity report. Scott?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have a copy in your binders of the monthly activity report for the month of February. We had a big month in occupational licenses. For the first time, I think we broke $1 million in occupational license collections. 865 licenses granted in the month of February. Building permits, we still keep rolling pretty strong there. It was a short month with 28 days, but we still had over 600 permits for revenue of $103,000. Planning and zoning, we had a fairly active month with 16 cases. Code enforcement, we had 257 cases submitted, 49 abated within the month. And on DPW request, we had 227 received and 272 completed. So we completed more than we received. So we're making up some of that backlog. Under technology, we continue to have continued service without interruption and no cyber security intrusions. We started a new accounts payable person yesterday, and we went to lunch with her today. And so that's helping out our finance team. We have another one starting originally in this report. I said March 16th, found out today it's going to actually be a week later on the 23rd. And that fulfills hiring for our finance department. We still have one position to fill in planning, and then we'll have our admin and development staff fully staffed up. Under economic development, TIP Strategies from Austin, Texas is working on our strategic economic development plan. I believe they're gathering a lot of data, and they're coordinating with our comprehensive land planning team. And using some of the data that they have there, they're going to be coordinating their efforts in the public outreach for that. And under grants, we just submitted on the 24th a build grant for $17 million. That is for traffic improvements on Segan Lane. And we just today I got a report on congressionally directed funding opportunities that have been completed, but quite honestly, I haven't had a chance to read it, and I'll report more to you on that next time. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, we have a few presentations tonight. First presentation is from the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. I know we have Mr. Brian Hightower here. I didn't know if you had anybody else with you, but the floor is yours.
It's like a big reveal.
I know, one screen at a time.
Surprise.
Well, good evening, Mayor Yates and councilmen and women. We are really honored to be with you this evening, and it's great to see some of your elected officials that were at our food bank recently Patty and Max and Asher came and visited with us, and we had a really nice time together. So my name is Liz Pfeiffer. I'm the new president and executive chief officer at the food bank, at the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, and I'm happy to have.
I'm Brian Hightower. I'm Chief Development Officer and General Counsel of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank.
So we want to start off by just sharing a little bit about what a food bank is. I think most people are aware, but just in case to kind of level set a little bit, oftentimes food bank, food pantry, shelter, or a soup kitchen, all of those are kind of synonymous for many people. But what is a food bank? Well, we are a nonprofit organization here in the Greater Baton Rouge area. We are the food bank that serves the city of St. George and 11 surrounding parishes. We are the only food bank that serves those most in need with our services that we provide. We receive food that is donated, that we also receive from the U.S. government, and also that we purchase. So that food comes into us, then it is sorted and distributed out to community organizations and community agencies. We serve over 140 agencies in our 11 parish areas. So we have quite a large service area, and we provide this food free of charge. Nothing is charged for our agencies and pantries that we work with, and nothing is charged for those that receive food from us. That's really important. And so really, if you think about supply chain, food comes in, food is distributed, packed, it's put into cardboard boxes, corrugated boxes, as you might think, and then it goes back out to those most in need. And those could be those female-headed households, single-headed households, people in need, people that are struggling to just make their basic food and household needs on a regular basis. And as you can imagine, there are certain times of the year when we might have higher needs than others. We went through a really difficult time most recently in October and November when there weren't as many resources coming in, and some of our food and cash that we received from the U.S. government in 2025 were reduced, and even some of our programs cut. So many people come to us in times of need, and we provide that service. So again, where we serve, 11 different parishes that you see there on the left side, a pretty large service area in terms of our square miles, about 4,600 square miles. There in the light blue of the map that you see. On national average, the poverty rate is around 13%, but for us in our coverage area, it's higher at 16.5%. That means that about 1 in every 8 Louisianians are facing food insecurity on a regular basis. They're not able to put the amount of food that they need to serve themselves and their families. The median household income from our service area is about $70,000, again, lower than the national average. Here in St. George city limits, we work really closely with 4 partner agencies. We are very proud to partner with those service agencies that receive and then distribute out that food to those most in need. And we can answer more questions about some of these statistics as we go along. One thing that we want to spend a little bit more time with that might be most interesting to you is how can we and how can us as the food bank and you as city council in the city of St. George work together, grow our partnership, and continue to meet the needs of those that have those food insecurity in their household. So Brian's going to talk a little bit about how we can work with the public and your role as a city council and involvement.
Thank you, Liz. We have the pleasure of visiting with neighbors all the time, whether it's at the food bank or local rotaries or going to corporate events, whatever. And it's a pleasure to share with the public our call to action to the public. And it's very simple. We have 3 main asks that we ask of the public, neighbors like you and I, to support the food bank. That is to donate money. Every dollar donated to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank gives us the opportunity to provide up to 3 meals for neighbors in need. So a dollar spent by the food bank is so much more powerful than a dollar spent by you and I at the grocery store. Second thing is host a food drive or donate food by dropping it off at a retail partner of ours or participating in a church or neighborhood food drive. Hosting your own food drive if you're a company or you're a scout group or a class or a school. And then the third thing that we ask of the public is to volunteer. We rely heavily on our volunteers. In 2024, we had over 14,900 volunteer visits, equaling over 58,000 volunteer hours. And so put that in terms of dollars saved for the food bank, that's about 27 full-time employees, which, factoring in salaries and benefits, well over $1 million that we're able to distribute in the form of food to our neighbors in need. The next thing we want to talk about is how you as a council and how you as council members and as an organization as a whole can possibly support the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Government funding is one obvious thing. We get support from a lot of our jurisdictions that we serve, parishes, cities, the state, and also, like Liz referenced, a little bit from the federal government. So if there's ever an opportunity to grant us funding throughout the budget year, we would be very appreciative of that, and we would use it to serve your neighbors in need. The second thing, which is really important to us, is raise awareness of the food bank and be an advocate for us and also help us on an advocacy level. When legislation or rules are up, if there's some way that you can speak on behalf of the food bank or all the 5 food banks in the state of Louisiana, or most importantly, speak on behalf of your neighbors in need, we ask that you be a voice for us in that regard. And you know, on the awareness thing, if anybody asks you about the food bank, we have a really great website. We've got a Find Food tab, so if there's a neighbor or a resident of St. George that's facing food insecurity, they can go to our website, they can go to the Find Food tab, and they can put in their address, and it'll locate the agency that's closest to them that they can register and receive support. And then finally, what else you can do is help us with corporate connections. I mean, you know your neighbors more than the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, and you know them better, and you know potential donors, and you know companies that want to get involved in a meaningful way to serve neighbors of St. George. The Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Liz referenced, is the only food bank that serves this city, the only food bank that serves this 11 parish service area. So connect us with those companies, please, those donors. Every dollar matters. You know, Liz referenced the difficult time we had last year with reduced food support from the USDA. We are really working to get back to the levels where we were at the beginning of 2025, and we just need corporate and community support to do that. So on to the next slide. You know, we have to talk, we talk about what we do and how we do it and who we are, but the most important thing that answers our why we do it is talking about who we serve. Hunger is a community issue. Food insecurity is a community issue. And, you know, I had an opportunity to speak at our 40th anniversary party last summer. And prior to that, preparing for my presentation, I spoke to a new donor of the food bank. And she said, Brian, don't focus on what you do and how you do it. Talk about who you serve. And so I started with that. And so understand this. A lot of us in the room right now are one medical emergency, one layoff, one diagnosis away from food insecurity. Our neighbors are the same as you and I. We have neighbors that are hardworking individuals that just have a difficult time making ends meet. Our neighbors that we serve are veterans. They're people with disabilities. They're grandparents who care for grandchildren, single parents. It runs the gamut of all races and all ethnicities and all religions and all backgrounds. Hunger is in our community, and it's in our backyard, and it's something that you and I all are having to face together, and we can all be part of the solution. And so, you know, we appreciate the partnership. It was great having Patty and Max and Asher at the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. We would love to have the whole council there one day if that ever is available, or if you want to come individually, or anybody that's viewing online or watching or in presence today, reach out to us. We'd love to be a partner with you in serving our neighbors in need.
Thank you, Brian. And so we're just going to end with contact information. If you have questions, any of the citizens and residents, neighbors that are online or are here with us in the room, please let us know. We are open to answering questions and, most importantly, being of service to those most in need. So thank you again.
How can we encourage our partners here, like our grocery stores, things like that, that I don't see a lot of the food bank containers out in St. George? Could we start with anybody really can put one out, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you go around and pick them up? Or
we do.
How does that work?
We have a great team that works under Brian that does retail rescue and also helps to put out boxes that then neighbors can put food in that they want to donate. And grocery stores are a great place for that because you could put a couple of extra cans or boxes or whatever into your cart as you're checking out, and then drop them in those boxes as you're leaving the grocery store. So we work really closely, and we'd love to see that continue to grow.
And I'd be willing to bet that most of the grocery stores that are within our city limits, I mean, I saw Drew and other members of the council at the opening of Super One. That is one of our partners, and they're part of our retail rescue program, and others in St. George are as well. And so if you think of a grocery store, or there's a retail location, and you want to know, please reach out to us, and I'll check with our retail rescue manager and find out if that is a retail partner of ours. We have 70 across our 11 parish areas, so it's good to know that we get probably over 2.5 or 3 million pounds of food from those retail partners. It's a beautiful relationship, but there are always new partners we can bring on board.
I have one other question. Another program that I was interested in reading everything was your Backpacks for Kids. Is that something that we would do as a city, or is that something that we just contribute to the program? Do you need volunteers for that? Money? What's the best way to get involved? If you want to pick a certain thing, you know, I'm a resident and I say I want to do Backpacks for Kids, or I want to focus on the elderly, just contact y'all and say, this is what I want to get involved with. Yes?
Yeah, there definitely are several different programs that we run, and we find that supporters and contributors to the food bank maybe have a specific interest that they want to contribute for. Maybe it's senior meals or childhood nutrition or making sure food gets to children after school or on the weekends, and we love that. We're able to kind of earmark some of your contributions in the best way possible, and so let us know. And it's even options to come and help prepare those backpacks. In that case, we do that on a weekly basis. We pack thousands of bags that go into kids' backpacks every week, and so we're happy to partner on that.
And you mentioned children and seniors. Louisiana is third in the country in childhood and senior food insecurity, which is a sad thought. That's a sobering thought. 1 in every 5 children in our service area are food insecure. So the kids in our communities need as much help and as much support as possible.
Thank you.
I want to say one thing. If you've never been there, it's impressive. Probably the most cleanest facility I've ever been to. And I'm not sure if the artist finished the painting on the
Yes.
wall yet, but that was impressive also. But just the people work there are very nice, polite. You would think when you drive up, you're at a 18-wheeler base of some hub. There's so many tractor trailers there, and they're just running in and out, running in and out. Go by there and just look at the place. I mean, they welcome you, and once you see what they have, you'll be thoroughly impressed and want to give. And I've been giving for years, and after we went there, I'll probably even give more during the holiday season, because y'all always send me about 20 mail outs. So I just want to tell y'all for what y'all do is
Yeah.
very good, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I only had one question. You mentioned partner organizations that y'all work with inside of St. George. Who are the partner organizations that provide service, I guess, alongside y'all?
Yeah, we can share that list. There are 4, as we mentioned. So Healing Place Baton Rouge has a very large pantry. Deaf Resources has about 600 clients and growing, I think. Opening Door Shepherd's Market and Capital City Church. And so there may be other organizations in the city of St. George that provide food and resources that do very similar things to us, and these are 4 that we work closely with.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Brian.
y'all. We appreciate it.
All right, next presentation, we have a presentation from Ms. Angela Harms from Breck.
Good afternoon.
Yep.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm going to scooch over into the middle here. As Mayor said, I'm Angela Harms, Director of Project Development for the Planning and Engineering Department at Breck, the Parks Department for East Baton Rouge Parish. We are happy to announce we have a public meeting coming up on the 19th, right here in this room. at 5:30 to 7 o'clock. We are going to be presenting 2 items for you for your review and for all of the public that wants to join us. We're going to be presenting the Airline Highway Master Plan. It's for our community park. They're going to be developed at Airline Highway. We started the plan in 2020 through COVID, 2021. Things kind of got stalled, and now with the new city of St. George, we want to be sure we're meeting all of the needs for your community. So we want to bring this plan back to the public, show everyone what we've been working on very closely with mayor and other council members. So we're very excited to present this to you. So like I said, the 19th on Thursday, 5:30 p.m. right here in this room. And then the second thing we'll be presenting at that meeting is our Recreation Center Transition Plan. This is a plan we have for the whole parish on how to right-size our system for our rec centers. We have far more rec centers than we are able to sustain in the parish. It's more than most regions our size. So what we're doing is looking at how we can better utilize them, how we can partner with people, what we need to do in order to be able to air condition them, and which ones will receive those improvements, and which ones we will either eliminate or change in some way to be more sustainable or partner with other people or organizations. So those are some items we have on the agenda. So we just invite everyone to come out, anybody in the St. George area. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
If you can't attend in person, how do you participate in that? Or is there an online survey?
We will have an online survey. That's very good. Thank you so much. So we will publicize the online survey. It'll be pushed out through our social. We'll tag the city in it, and it'll be on our website as well. And then I believe you have the live.
Yes, we're going to also try to live stream the meeting for those that can't attend, but we would love for as many people as possible to be in attendance for it.
Yes. Yeah, in person's always best. We love to talk. All right. Anything?
I'll say this. I want to thank Angela for the effort and amount of time that she has spent on this project, along with the BREC staff. I don't think that people truly understand what all goes on to get to the point that we're at. It's exciting times for the city of St. George. We have a school vote that's coming up, and this goes right along with that for what we can offer for our youth as well as our adults. Far too many times our parents and our children are having to leave St. George to go to tournaments and recreational opportunities, and now it's time to keep our residents here. This gives us an opportunity to do that. Also, along with the surveys that we've had for the Comprehensive Plan Committee, Parks and Recreation are extremely high on the priority list for our residents. And the relationship that we have with BREC is going to allow us to be able to offer that not only at the airline complex, but other projects that are coming that we'll be discussing as well. So thanks to Angela. There are new times here with the new city, and also working with Angela and her staff has been very well. We've been doing this for about 7 months, I think. We meet once a week, but that doesn't mean we're not on the phone for 4 or 5 other days of the week and hours and hours. So it's a unique topography at Airline Highway, and we hope you join us to see that. So what we have to offer may not be your ideal complex, but what we're working with and the obstacles that we have out there, this is going to be an incredible opportunity for adults and children.
Yeah, beautiful space to have. So we're excited. Thank you so much for your kind words, and we're excited to get started. Thanks. Anything else?
Thank you, Angela.
All right, thank you.
All right, proclamation naming March as National Flood Awareness Month. Before I do this proclamation, I wanted to make a few points real quick. First off, we talked about this early on, what we have inherited at St. George, especially in regard to drainage, infrastructure issues that have led to so much flooding in the recent past. Just to give you an idea of what we encounter on a daily basis, I got a phone call from our Public Works Director today. This past weekend, we obviously had a fairly significant rain event. There was some high water on a particular street, so We did what we always do after a random event. We go out, we investigate it, we see what the issue is. And the particular issue in this, on this particular street was that inside of the culvert, was a 20-foot light pole. Okay, yes, a 20-foot light pole. Don't ask me how it got there. Don't ask me who put it there. But I can't imagine that it meandered its way down there by itself. And I just wanted to mention this as a point that these are things that we encounter on a daily basis. So as we literally unravel and unplug our drainage system and get water flowing in the direction it needs to get flowing, these are some of the obstacles that we face every day. I just want to take a moment to applaud our Public Works team for their daily effort. As of right now, they're excavating 1 mile of ditch a week. When you consider that we haven't had a mile of ditch excavated, and I can't tell you how many years, we're doing 1 mile a week. We're doing both roadside ditch excavation, off-road ditch excavation. To go along with replacing culverts, replacing pipes, replacing catch basins, utilizing our sewer jet to blow out subsurface drainage that hasn't been touched in a generation. It's truly been remarkable to watch what our Public Works Director Landon's been able to do and his team been able to accomplish, and for that he deserves our applause. All right, so proclamation time. City of St. George, State of Louisiana, Proclamation 2026-01. Whereas East Baton Rouge Parish, including areas within the City of St. George, often experiences severe weather in form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events resulting in flooding, with some of the most devastating flooding occurring during the spring. Whereas flooding has caused substantial damage to structures, including homes, buildings, in both high-risk special flood hazard areas or low to moderate risk flood zones. Whereas in 1981, the Louisiana Legislature, by Act 896, created the Amite River Basin Drainage and Water Conservation District, which includes within its territory the City of St. George, to establish regional non-federal entity to accomplish major flood control efforts. Whereas since its creation, the district through its commission has worked tirelessly to mitigate flood damage, reduce the risk of flooding, and provide information and resources regarding flood hazards affecting the Amite River Basin. Whereas despite the commission's efforts, the risk of hazardous and sudden flooding remains a threat to residents and properties in the City of St. George. Whereas the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before an extreme rainfall and tropical system events. Whereas public education and awareness of potential weather hazards and methods of protection are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and property owners. And whereas the officials of the City of St. George desire to make available resources to residents and property owners of St. George information to assist in mitigation of flood hazards. Now, therefore, I, Dustin Yates, Mayor of the City of St. George, together with the St. George City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March of 2026 Flood Awareness Month. In the City of St. George, encouraging the citizens and property owners of St. George to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their property from flooding. In witness whereof, I have set my hand officially and caused to be affixed to seal the City of St. George on this 10th day of March 2026. All right, that's enough for proclamations and presentations. Introduction of ordinances for public hearing on March 24th, 2026. Item number 1, ordinance regulating fiber optic and telecommunication facility installation within public right-of-way. Number 2, ordinance to amend Chapter 3 of Title 1 of the Code of Ordinances relative to annexations and to provide for related matters. Number 3, ordinance to enact Title 7, Chapter 16 relative to sign regulation and to provide for related matters. Items for public hearing and action. Item number 1, ordinance regulating donation activities, prohibiting unauthorized donation drop-offs, establishing operational requirements for donation center, declaring certain conditions a public nuisance, providing for enforcement, liability, and penalties, and otherwise providing with respect of thereto. Councilman Merle, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, this is a request from our public safety director. Essentially, what's happened with the unattended donation bins is they become constant sources of litter and blight. They're unattended, which means they can be broken into. Some people are using them as trash bins and just throw their trash in there. And unfortunately what happens is they typically become pretty unsightly pretty fast.
This is a mechanism. Donations are still welcome in St. George. I know, following the food bank, that's awesome. But I will say, this is not intended to say do not donate new and gently used clothing and items and things like that. What this is saying is they need to be attended so they can be taken care of and preserved and given out the way they're supposed to be and not just strewn about the roadway. So it's just a measure to prevent blight.
Thank you, Councilman. This is a public item, so we will open up the public comment period at this time. If anybody would like to speak on this item, now's your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council? Motion to approve by Evans,
Second.
second by Merle. Any opposition? Hearing none, item has been approved. Item number 2, ordinance to amend Title IX, Chapter 1 of the St. George Code of Ordinances relative to occupational licenses for veteran-owned business and to provide for related matters. This ordinance is pretty simple. There's a fee associated with an occupational license. This is providing a discount for our veterans that operate a business within the city of St. George. They pay a little bit of a reduced fee with the adoption of this ordinance. This is a public item. If anybody from the public would like to speak on this item, now would be your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council?
Well, real quick, I will say, I try to look at all these ordinances through a fiscal lens as well and try to take out the stuff that we all feel passionate about. This is not going to be a hindrance to the revenue collection for St. George. This is not something that costs St. George a lot of money. In fact, it's relatively non-existent. So this is something that's a positive by promoting veteran-owned business. It's also a positive because it's not going to be financially negatively impactful on the city.
Thank you, Councilman. We got a motion to approve by Himmel on the table. Second by Monticello. Any other comments? Any opposition? Seeing none, item has been approved. All right, item number 3, resolution to approve the Capital Region Area Floodplain Task Force, also known as CRAFT, 2025 multi-jurisdictional program for public information, also known as PPI. We have Justin here, our floodplain manager, to come up here and explain this to us.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So PPI, this program for public information, essentially is just a 5-year plan on how our multi-jurisdictional group handles public outreach amongst our area. So we have East Baton Rouge Parish, Ascension Parish, and Livingston Parish, and just about all the jurisdictions within those parishes. We get together once a month and we discuss, new policy, strategy, changes to current policy, and how we implement those to our communities and to let our communities know what's going on. So this plan before you is a collection of recommendations from the community. We've had several public meetings throughout 2025 and got input and feedback from proposals, and community members participated, as well as professionals and outside organizations to kind of contribute to what they think the most important information is to put out there to everybody. So we had those meetings, adopted this plan internally, and now we're bringing it to you just to accept this in every jurisdiction as in support of what our 5-year plan was going to be. So I'll take you to, each jurisdiction has their own little write-up and just statistics about what kind of coverages are in their area, what the hazards are. And in St. George, most like all other communities, we're facing, the similar threat of flooding and what that means for everybody, and the lack of insurance coverages and the cost of insurance and how we deal with those things. So it's pretty common. It's a commonality between all of our area of what our challenges are. So as a group, we've got together, and I'll share our messages with you quickly. Essentially, we wanted to promote and put out there what exactly the hazards you're facing. Obviously, here we're hyper aware that flooding is probably the top concern. Like the mayor, just mentioned a moment ago in our proclamation to make March Flood Awareness Month, that is one of the things that we've identified, using these tools to just promote awareness, right? We want to make sure that people know what kind of insurance they have for their property, what their coverages are. Make sure you're making sure you have the right amount of coverage, or what's covered. Is your contents covered? If you're a renter somewhere, is coverage available to you? So all those things, especially dealing with insurance, we want to make sure that people have the right resources they can to get in touch with their insurance agents, or ask local community floodplain administrators how best to pursue any insurance coverages they may need. Want to make sure people and their property are protected, like what they can do, what options are available. Is there tools or methods? Is there a way to call your local 311 and report drainage issues? Things like that. We want to make sure that people have those tools to understand how they can protect themselves. Promote responsible building. We want to make sure, if somebody's planning on building a house, or they're in the process of building a house, we advise them and tell them what their risks are, how they can build a house more safely or securely to prevent them from the risk of flooding. And then, just educating what the floodplain is, how it works, areas that we want to preserve, like we're going through now in our comprehensive plan, where we're identifying some of those areas. That's, the main messages out there that we're trying to look to, beat into people's minds over the next 5 years in a variety of different ways to just put that information out there. Again, like tonight, we'll make public proclamations. We'll have throughout public meetings and public gatherings, try to have booths and information set up to hand out people brochures and be available for questions. We have brochures available at City Hall. We're going to send out mailers once a year, reminding people in those flood-prone areas that, hey, we know that your area has a problem. Be aware. If you have any questions, call us. Just making those resources available. The biggest thing I'll run home with to wrap this up is that we at St. George, myself, are available. If you have any questions, you want to know what your risk is, how you're going to build, any questions about your elevations, any questions about insurance coverages, we are available. Call us. We can sit down, talk to you through email, over the phone. The resources are there. Just use them, and we're going to try to make people aware.
Real quick, Justin. So first, this list that y'all came up with, this came back from having community meetings, extracting information from external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then the second part is, this is a requirement of ours, right? So we have to communicate this to our public in order to be part of the community rating system. Is that correct?
So yes and no. It is
Just stick with the
absolutely
yes.
Yes, it's a
Just
requirement because we want to be involved, right?
Sure.
We don't have to be. This is what we're choosing to do, to go that extra mile and provide that service.
That's all I had, Justin. Does anybody else have any questions for Justin?
Can we control where some of these public meetings are in the future so they can be in the city of St. George?
We now have influence in this group. 2025 was our first time participating, so those meetings were already set. But I'm sure we can absolutely have meetings more available to our citizens.
Because we have one library, we can perhaps have a meeting there.
That's right. That's right.
Is this all on our website? The floodplain management?
So this will be on our website. When we roll out our new website, we're going to design a whole new page that has a multitude of information, much more than we have now. So,
Hey, one more question. How is this paid for?
paid for?
Yeah, do we pay to be a member of this?
Not be a paid for. This is voluntary membership from communities who participate in the National Flood Insurance Program.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Looked at maybe the first floodplain administrator in the history of floodplain administrators to get a standing applause. I think Landon started it in the back, by the way.
That's all right, sympathetic.
All right, so this is a public item. We will open up the public comment period for this item at this time. If you'd like to speak, now's your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council?
The only thing I hate about it is acronyms. Why does every government agency have to have one, and this one involves like 2 of them? Craft. How long did they spend wasting time to come up with craft? That's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Cook. Second by Councilman Talbot. Any opposition other than to the acronym craft?
I'm gonna go with that.
Seeing none, item has been approved. All right, other business announcements. Next city council meeting will be Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Next Board of Adjustment meeting will be Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Next Planning Commission meeting will be Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Next Zoning Commission meeting will be Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Next administrative hearing will be Friday, March 20th, 2026 at 9 a.m. And one very important date that's not on this list will be May 16th. Which, in case you haven't heard, we have our school vote on May 16th. Early voting begins in the first week of May. If you can't be there on May 16th, please make your way to the ballot boxes during early voting. Your vote is very important to us, and not just to us, but our children. So we appreciate your support in doing what we said we were going to do 14 years ago. That being said, I don't have anything else.
I have one other thing to add. As most of you know, we've just started our St. George Chamber of Commerce. There's some information on the back table. There is a members luncheon on the 27th of this month. So go on their website, get their flyer, join. You can join as an individual member too. You don't have to have a business. So they welcome the support, the help, the encouragement. We need to get behind our businesses and support them. And so this is a great way to get involved. All of our department heads will be talking to the chamber that Friday, the 27th, at their lunch. So if you want to know more about St. George and your business and you want to know who does what and how it works, join and come to the lunch. Everything's on the website, which is, what's chamber? stgeorgechamber.la. stgeorgechamber.la. Thank you.
One last thing, I'd like to recognize Miss Monique Apeening. If she'd go ahead and stand up. Miss Monique Apeening is running for Congressional District 6 for our area. Many of you, our district boundaries for St. George has a heavy population of District 6 and District 5. And so District 6 pretty much runs from Blue Bayou on through Highland Road and all the way through Burbank, through Highway 30, many neighborhoods, a lot of people. And elections are coming up for the congressional seats in the state, May 16th and in June and then in November. So if you hadn't had a chance to meet Miss Monique, she lives right here off of Highland Road, right in District 6 in St. George. And she is a candidate, so you make sure that you get to meet her tonight, get to know her, and make sure, again, like Dustin said, May 16th, everybody go and vote. Thank you.
All right, last thing on the elections. Elections are important. It changes the course of how our community is going to be governed, whether it's something that's truly transformational like the school election. Judges are important as we see criminals released over and over again to keep committing crime. Judges are important. We got several judges races coming up. If you want elected officials to actually live in the district that they're going to represent, elections are important. In St. George, we've got a wonderful young history of showing up to vote early and on election day. I was going to say often, I'm sorry. But we have a wonderful history of showing up and voting, and I want to keep that going. I don't want that to be something that fades as we become apathetic. And these elections are super important, every one of them. It doesn't matter if it's an off-ballot, a primary, a judge, a dog catcher, a clerk of court. These matter, and they matter for what the community is going to be and what the community is going to become. And something like the school election for St. George, you can't underscore what that's about to do to our community. I know, because we get to watch it in Central. We've seen the $421 million a year that Ascension Parish generates off the dollars and indirect dollars because they've got a great free public education system. And that's what we can do and have. So please show up and vote. If you can't get there, ask a friend for a ride. If you can't make it on election day, vote early. Just vote.
Anybody else? All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Himmel, second by Talbot. Anybody opposed? Nobody ever is. Thank y'all for coming. Have a great evening.